What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Mag Grip. Alright guys, so the random question of the day is, what is winter like where you're from? So winter around here varies greatly. I've had some years where there's no snow at all. Then there's other years where we get 3 feet of snow, but yeah, we tend to get at least one decent snowfall per year. We just got our first taste of winter here. Got about 11 inches of snow, and I'm expecting more to come. So with that, I want to know what winter is like where you're from. Leave it on down there in the comment section below. So today we're looking at this guy right here. This is the Smok Mag Grip Kit with a big, huge shout out and thank you going to blackoutvapors.com for sending this one my way for the purpose of making this video. So I've been seeing this kit online for a good while now, and at first I thought it looked a little bit corny and goofy, but it definitely has grown on me in the past couple of weeks that I've been testing it. So taking a look at blackoutvapors.com, they've got this stocked in 4 different color options for you to choose from. You've got black and red, chrome and black, red and black, and blue and black. And if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, it's going to run you about 55 bucks for the full kit, which I think is a screaming deal if you ask me. So make sure you go check out blackoutvapors.com. I'll have a link for you guys over on my website. Link to that will be right down there in the description below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got our Mag Grip Kit in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging, then we'll talk about what's inside. So first and foremost, lovely picture of the device right there on the front with a nice bit of design behind it. Little spot gloss on there, as you can see right there, and you know, I'll admit this again, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, Smok really does a really good job with their packaging. So we've got a color indication right there, 2700 single battery with max 100 watts right there on the bottom. We've got the scratch and check and UPC on the side here with a little company information, and on this side here we have some basic specs and then some information about the coils. On the back we've got what's in the box, and we've got some warnings down here and all that good stuff. So with that, let's just go ahead and slide out the main box. We've got a nice silver embossed Smok logo right there. Slide off the top, and first thing we're greeted with is some paperwork. So we've got the Mag Grip Kit paperwork right here. We've got some color graphics, fairly small but not tiny printing, and it's booklet style. So amazing job, Smok. Yes, I'm commending them for their booklets. They did a really good job with that. So we've got the little QA check thing right there, and we've got the little battery warning card. Next up, we've got the mod itself. There is the Mag Grip mod. Putting that off to the side. Underneath, we've got, let's go for the tank first. Get that out of the way. There we go. There is the Baby V2 tank. We'll take a look at that in just a second. We've got our spare glass piece. This is a straight glass, straight up and down glass, not a bubble glass. But what do you expect for a spare? And we've also got a spare coil as well. Let's dig that out. There we go. Spare coil. There you can see inside, hopefully. This is a double barrel coil. And we've got our baggy O spare parts. Typical stuff in there, some gaskets and O-rings and that kind of thing. Nice that they give you nice spares. And last but not least, we've got the obligatory USB cable. Seems to be a bit on the longer side. Extra bonus points there, Smok. Good job. Alright guys, let's talk about the specs. First of all, it takes a single high amp 2700 or 21700 battery. You can also use an 18650 with the included adapter. The wattage output range for the 2700 or 21700 is 1 to 100 watts, or with an 18650 it goes from 1 to 85 watts. Voltage output range is 0.5 to 9 volts. Minimum atomizer resistance is 0.06 ohms. Temp control range is 200 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. It supports nickel, titanium, and stainless steel heating elements. It has a preheat functionality, soft, normal, hard, and max. Temp control coefficient of resistance, TCR adjustments. Superior zinc alloy construction. Intuitive 0.66-inch OLED display. Universally unique identifier. Oversized firing switch with a trigger-like design. Sliding battery bay access with a coin-shaped button lock. Intelligent atomizer recognition. Puff monitoring system. 10-second cutoff. Short circuit protection. Over heat protection. Over discharge protection. It has a micro USB port for firmware updates and charging, and of course it has a 510 connection. As for the TFV8 Baby V2 sub-ohm tank, it's 25 millimeters in diameter or 30 millimeters at its widest point. It has a 5 mil maximum juice capacity with the convex glass extension, superior stainless steel steel construction, high-grade glass reinforcement, high temp resistant, convenient top fill rotary system with lock button mechanism, massive dual adjustment airflow control at base. The coils use an antibacterial medical cotton, and it comes with a 16mm wide Delrin widebore drip tip, and it has a 510 connection. Alright guys, let's talk about this mag grip kit in a little bit more detail here, starting off with the tank. And at the top of the tank we've got this proprietary drip tip. Now this is kind of like the Aspire Cleto, where you can only use this particular tip because it's kind of like a sleeve that fits over these two little O-rings right on this little bump out section there. Now that's really unfortunate. They have their own TFV8 style drip tip, and they should have used it on this in my opinion. Unfortunately, you're left with this little Delrin piece, which is nothing too special, nothing to write home about. So also at the top section we have this little classic Baby B style flip open top cap, which is kind of nice, very convenient, one of the more convenient filling systems, and it even has a little locking mechanism so it doesn't fly open in your pocket. Never had any issues with this from the time that I've been using it, and they've changed it around a little bit. Now you have the O-ring sitting at the top here instead of on this section, which means nothing to gnarl up when you fill it up, which is great. I've had so many people come into the vape shop and complain that their little O-ring thing here is getting all messed up from them filling it. So definitely an improvement of the tank there. So here's a look at the mesh coil after about 3 weeks of use, and I've ran about 360 mils of juice through this thing. So performance is a lot better than the traditional Baby Beast coils, but overall still not quite as good as the Falcon. So right now the flavor is very muted and kind of muddy, and I'm definitely getting some dry hits, so this coil is dead. Coils themselves, they look a lot like the Falcon coils, really. I mean, what more can you say? They definitely took a lot of pages out of the book of the Falcon tank with these coils here. Nothing super special about this bottom section here other than the fact that it has quad adjustable airflow. So you have 4 holes all the way around this thing, and they are of course fully adjustable. So that is definitely a nice touch there. Plenty of airflow to go around with this tank here. So taking a look at the mod itself, it has this sort of pistol grip look to it, which at first I thought was kind of corny, but it has definitely grown on me in the past couple of weeks. We've got this metal piece right here which releases the battery magazine, which is also made of metal. So I like the fact that they're using more metal pieces on their devices. It has this big gold plated contact down here at the bottom, and yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this sort of system, but it's a little bit more solid than their attempts in the past. So it's marked positive negative, so you just put your battery in like that and then just slide it back into place. Simple as that. We've got this sort of ergonomic feel going on, and at the front here we have our trigger button, so very nice and comfortable to hold on to and grip there. We've got a little micro USB down here at the bottom for charging and firmware updating if you want to do it like that, and a metal 510 connection at the top here. So at the back we have the beaver tail section, which houses the screen and the controls. So let's go ahead and turn the device on with 5 clicks of the power button. 1 2 3 4 5. And it takes a couple of seconds to start up here. We get the splash screen, and then we get to select what type of battery we're using. So I'm using a 21700, so I'm just going to click and hold there. Then you see the screen with all of your pertinent information on it: your battery life, your wattage, your resistance of your coils, voltage, and your timer right there at the bottom. To get into the sub menus, it's just 3 clicks on the fire button, 1 2 3, and then you have mode, puff counter, settings, power, and back to mode. So click and hold to use as the OK button. Basically, you go from wattage, titanium, nickel, stainless steel, and back to wattage, and click and hold once again. We're going to leave it on normal, and then there it brings you back out to this screen here. So fairly intuitive. There's really nothing much else I have to show you about this, honestly, and I feel like anyone could get used to this no problem. So to turn the device off, you go to power, highlight off, and then click and hold, and then it goes off just like that. So fairly simple button layout for this device. So that's about all I've got to show you guys in this little close-up section. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of this video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off with the pros, my first pro is that it's fairly sturdy. I would even go as far to say it's the sturdiest Smok device that I've used in the recent past. I mean, other than like the Z-Max from way back in the day, this thing is pretty darn good for durability. I feel like I can drop it a couple of times. There's lots of metal parts on this thing here, and I feel like it can withstand a lot of wear and tear. And my second pro for this one is that it's ridiculously ergonomic. This thing fits my hand absolutely perfectly. You really couldn't ask for a more form-fitting mod, and as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the most comfortable mods I've ever put in my hand to date. My third pro today is the intuitive controls. Now, the control system on this is fairly simple. I really like the basic screen, simple little up, down there, and the fire button. That's all you really need for this device, and I could hand this off to a newbie vapor and they could figure it out in no time. And my fourth and final pro for this device is this baby V2 tank is my favorite Smok tank that they've came out with in a very long time. Now, the Prince tank wasn't too bad, but in my personal opinion, Smok has just been fail after fail after fail with the baby beast system, and I really got sick of it, so I'm really glad they went back to the drawing board with this baby V2 and just completely designed it from the ground up again, and I gotta say, I'm fairly impressed. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is that the Baby V2 tank has a proprietary drip tip. That is an absolute killer in my book because I personally like to switch up my drip tips from time to time, and this way you're stuck with the plain old black Delrin tip unless you can find something that'll fit it. So really a bummer in my opinion. They just went with this random size and I'm just not too happy about it. My second con for this one is that the Baby V2 tank is almost a one-to-one ripoff of the Falcon tank. Now granted, I love the Falcon tank. That's one of my favorite tanks of all time, and I can appreciate that they tried to copy something so good, but with this one here, it's just a little bit off in my personal opinion. The coils are a little bit bigger, which doesn't necessarily help. The coils don't last quite as long as Falcon coils. They changed the airflow from a triple to a quad at the bottom, and they slapped their signature little slide open locking top cap section, but that's about it. So yeah, it's kind of a ripoff of the Falcon tank. It's pretty darn good, but at the end of the day, it's still not a Falcon. And my third and final con for this device is the unnecessary battery magazine. The removal technique for the battery is just a little bit over the top for me. I've never been a huge fan of the little press button battery magazine sort of thing, and yeah, just not a huge fan of that overall. I really wish they just went with something a little bit more simple because that's going to be another moving part to break, something more to go wrong with the device, and at the end of the day, it's just not necessary. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for a review? I'm going to say yes to this one. I think it's a good little kit. It's 100 watts, which is typically more than you need for most tanks nowadays. It's just nice and simple and easy to use. It looks nice. It feels nice in the hand. And what more do you want out of a $55 full kit? I mean, you really can't go wrong with the value for your money with this one here. So if you guys want to get one of these for yourself, it's available from blackoutvapors.com. Thank you so much, Blackout Vapors, for giving me this thing for this review. And make sure you guys check out the link I've got right down into the description if you guys want to get one for yourself. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Leave your comments down in the box below, and make sure you check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the description below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.